Hey Scorpio, welcome to your general tarot reading for the 17th to the 24th of December. This reading is for those with Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Messages are general and come through for those who need to hear them, so if this doesn't resonate, feel free to check out your other sign placements. Before we get into it, I want to note that energy is fluid and doesn't always come out super clear cut. You may resonate with only one part, different parts, or the whole reading that comes out today. Just trust what feels right for you. You know your situation best. Now, with that said, let's get into your reading. I'm just going to shuffle the deck a few times and then we'll jump into it. Spirit, what can Scorpio expect for this week? What can Scorpio expect for this week? And last one. What can Scorpio expect for this week? What can Scorpio expect for this week? That was quick and easy. Okay, so far you have got the Four of Swords, you got the Ten of Wands in reverse, and you got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. What else can Scorpio expect for this week? Okay, this is definitely very interesting. I will have to clarify these a little bit. Yeah. I'm just kind of looking at these cards that are coming out as well. So we've got the Three of Swords and the Nine of Cups in reverse. So it definitely looks like there might be some kind of like romantic or friendship situation that might be causing you pain this week in some way. But yeah, so far it looks very interesting. Why is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse here? I'm going to just clarify that quickly. Why is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse here? Clarify the Ace of Pentacles in reverse for Scorpio. Clarify the Ace of Pentacles in reverse for Scorpio. Sorry, Scorpio. I'll promise I will jump into it in a second. Yeah, okay. Definitely some... Alright, okay. Let's jump into it. And I will clarify them a little bit more in a bit. But to start off with, you got the Four of Swords, you got the Ten of Wands in reverse, and you got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. And then additionally, you got Temperance and the World in reverse. So, okay. So I think I don't know whether these two situations are separate or the same, but we will kind of jump into it. And then yeah, so you got the Three of Swords in reverse to clarify the Ace of Pentacles, which I will jump into a bit more. This energy is a bit interesting. But look, it looks like this week is definitely going to be quite a reflective week for you. You might not be you might not be doing too much action. You might be more kind of sitting back and really just taking a break from everything. And I'm pretty sure, I believe that you are taking a break because you might even have them now still, you had or have a lot of burdens that were kind of holding you down, that were weighing you down and were just making it really difficult for you to cope. There was a lot of stress that was on your back. And I think now you are kind of you're only just coming into a period where you can leave that stress behind you, and you can just relax for a little bit. Like you can take a time out and really think on everything that you've done, and think about how things have been working for you, and think about how did I deal with all that stressful situation? How did I deal with that? How did I cope with it? Was it healthy? Was it good? Um, and just really reflect on, really reflect on like what you do to kind of manage stress. Um, but yes, because I think the universe does want you to go introspective a little bit, and really just think about like your recent past actions. Just really think about them, and think, things like, was that in my best interest? Did that cause me more harm than good? Like, did it make me happy, genuinely happy? Did it cause me stress? Um, but yeah, so there has been a situation that I think has kind of been on your mind as well, where you wanted a new start in something. You wanted to kind of build on something, or start building on something, and yeah, it was like a chance for a new foundation. You wanted that. You really wanted that. Um, but I think this week it's kind of saying it doesn't look like it's gonna happen this week for you. It's almost like the universe is kind of saying no for the moment. Um, I think there are some things that you might need to kind of clear up before this cycle can actually start. Before you can get to this, before you can get that Ace of Pentacles, there are some things that you need to work on and clear out. Um, and look, so I think what this is saying, it's like there is a chance for a new start with something. It could be something like a career, it could be romantic, like a relationship, or it could be like a family thing. There is a new start that is possible, and you want this new start, but there is a lot. Before you can get to this new start, you're gonna have to release past pain and heartache that's holding you back. Um, because I think it's kind of saying like, hey, if you went and got this with where you're at now, if this Ace of Pentacles presented itself to where you are now, you might not actually be in like the emotional state to take it. You might not actually be able to kind of keep it. You might not be able to work on it well, because there is some heartache and pain that is still limiting you in some way. And it does look like you are releasing some burdens. You're definitely releasing some burdens. Um, and like you pretty much, this week you are going to be releasing and like trying to find new perspectives about this situation, whatever happened. This situation that caused you a lot of stress and a lot of just like, it was just a burden to you. It was just a burden. Um, and I think it doesn't have to, but it's almost like it has to do with a betrayal of some kind, or like just not feeling heartbroken in some way, feeling hurt, feeling heartbroken. It's almost like you might be releasing this situation now that was causing you heartbreak. But either way, it's just saying, it's like you're not going to get this Ace of Pentacles until you actually start to go and look at this past pain and this past heartbreak, and just like any emotional suffering. And I think it does have to do with relationships. So you might have been hurt in relationships in the past. Um, but there's something about this pain that is kind of, it's limiting your perspective in some way. It's keeping you trapped in some way, limiting your perspective, and it's holding you back from getting this opportunity here. And it's like this opportunity is so close, but the universe is like, no, you have to wait. Like, you can't have that yet, because there is healing that needs to be done. And we can see that as well with temperance. So I think this is just really about your healing of past wounds that have been limiting you and holding you back and keeping you trapped. These past wounds, they've really been holding you back, yeah, and keeping you out of balance as well. There is a lot of balance that needs to be regained here, to end these cycles, because it's like you have been constantly trapped in cycles because of this past heartbreak and this past pain. You've been constantly stuck in that, and you haven't been able to get out of it for some reason. And it's almost like all these situations end up back at the same place, with you feeling heartbroken, or like somebody else feeling heartbroken, or just an opportunity not working out for you. You might always think something is going to work out for you, and then it just never seems to work out. And that's because you need a lot more healing and balance. Yeah. To be able to stop this cycle from repeating again, you need balance of mind, body, and soul or spirit. So maybe you pour too much energy into like mental energy or physical energy, or like maybe you're too spiritual. Like I don't really want to say that, but like, you get what I mean. There are imbalances in those areas that are causing you to be stuck in a cycle. Mind, body, and spirit. All of those need to be in balance with each other and harmonious. And if you neglect one of them, it's going to affect everything in another one. Like, it's going to leak in and keep affecting the rest of them, and you're not going to be able to fully heal. Now, I do want to grab some more clarifying cards, see what else needs to come out for you. But yeah, this is really just about healing and having a balance, becoming like you see the Queen of Pentacles just showed itself, becoming more grounded and balanced and nurturing to yourself. More self-nurturing energy is needed here, because how are you going to nurture like a relationship or a commitment if you can't nurture yourself? How will you be able to put energy into something when you need energy first for yourself? You got to take care of yourself first. And I think you have the tendency, to the Tower is coming out. It's almost like, because you don't put energy into balancing your mind, body, spirit, you might have a lot of Tower moments where, just moments of like pure anxiety, and like emotional distress as well, where you feel like you're not in control. You feel like you're not in control. You feel like just everything is too much, because you don't have that sturdy, stable groundwork that you need within yourself. And so it's so easy for, like, say this Tower is you, and that is the foundation and the core of you. Okay? Now if the core is broken, like not broken, but like if the core is damaged, if the core is not stable, how is the rest of the Tower going to be held up? If that core part of you, like inside you, is not balanced, is not stable, if you don't have the balanced mind, body, spirit, how is the rest of you going to be able to be held up? It's not. It's going to crumble eventually. Like, it's going to keep going back to this point, because you can't keep building on an unstable foundation. It just doesn't work. It's always just going to break in the end. And I think, like you might have a lot of kind of moments where, because you don't have balance, it leads to these Tower moments where everything just kind of crumbles in front of you, and you're kind of left like, how did I get here? Why am I in this position now? Why am I feeling this suffering, this pain, these burdens? But I think, yeah, you really are being called to step out of yourself for a bit and look at how you're living your life. Like look at what you do in these stressful situations. Where in your foundation is shaky? Where can you build more on? Not, I didn't mean to call you that, but that's not how it sounded. But where can you keep building on, pretty much? Like where do you need to work on more in yourself? You need to go outside of yourself and really think about that for a while. How can I bring balance to myself so that these tower moments don't keep happening? So that my foundation is stable, it's sturdy. I can't be just shaken from the core. Because when you get shaken from the core easily, everything you know just kind of, it goes out of whack. It all becomes out of balance. But so you've got to really try and keep everything in balance for yourself. Now, what else does Scorpio need to know? Clarify this reading for Scorpio. What else do they need to know? Okay, and I think it always comes back down to like romantic situations for you. This is what it seems like. I think that might be. What else does Scorpio need to know about this? You are constantly waiting for love. I think you might be the type of person who thinks that if it's okay, it's almost like a band-aid where if you have a partner and you have a connection with someone, that's going to heal that foundation. That's going to make that foundation stable. But it's like, no, you're just building something new on a non-stable foundation. You won't be able to go anywhere. I think you are constantly waiting on other people. Yeah, you're definitely waiting on other people a lot. And I don't know whether you kind of turn to other people for like, I don't know how to word this, but like for like validation in some way. I don't know whether you kind of turn to other people for validation in some way, but you need to look for that validation within yourself. You need to be able to get that validation from yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to keep feeling this heartbreak and pain by putting too much energy and reliance on other people, and you're pretty much giving them all the control with how you live your life. You know? You don't want that. You want to have the control in your own hands for how you live your life. You don't want to be living life based on what other people think and expect of you. Does Scorpio need to know anything else? Okay, yep, so there are definitely as well, like, you might have some difficulties coping, like, emotionally. Okay? You might have anxiety. I just saw the 9 of Wands pop itself out. Anything else that they need to know? Yes, okay, and the Devil. Yeah, so it's like whatever emotional issues you're going through, they keep you trapped in some way. You got the Lovers and the Devil energy, both of which are about making choices, making a good choice. The Devil is about codependency and being kind of bound to something, being stuck on something, needing and relying on something else. It's like you don't have independence from it, whatever it is. And the fact that it's coming out next to the King of Cups is kind of saying, like, you might have some, like, codependency issues, which they come out in an emotional way. So, you know, like, you might have, like, emotional codependency on other people. So it's almost like you need other people to fulfill you emotionally to feel secure and stable in yourself. But it's like, no, you don't need to rely on other people to feel that way. You can get that from yourself. You can get that from within yourself. All of it. You just have to find how to do that for yourself. You've got to come out of your shell for a little bit, like get a bigger perspective on things and really go within and analyze yourself and analyze your situation, because I think you're constantly just ending up not really able to do anything, not really able to take action, and you just end up at the same place. Like you're kind of always coming back to the same place. And then you make a choice, and then it will be the same choice that you made before, which is it's not gonna get you anywhere. So it really is a lot about the choices that you make and how they impact your emotional happiness, your balanced emotions, and like how balanced they are, and just emotional satisfaction, and definitely also your relationships, because that's definitely linked to like emotional satisfaction and emotional happiness. But I think you've got to stop looking for love, and you got to figure out how you can rely on yourself emotionally. Don't rely on other people emotionally. Yes, they can support you, and I'm not saying don't ever message your friends when you're upset. Like, no, definitely message other people when you're upset. But there's more to it than other people. And you will kind of have to face these issues and the choices that you make. Ask yourself, how can I become more balanced in the choices that I make? How can I really look after myself and build that stable, secure foundation for myself? How can I do that? And I'll tell you now, it's from going within. It's from going within. And it's from trying not to rely too much on other people. Not being bound to other people or chained to other people. Yeah. Like, the King of Cups and the Devil is just being emotionally dependent on other people. And it's saying you need to break this cycle. You definitely need to break this cycle. And try and start relying on yourself a little bit more. Because that is how you will find balance. That's how you will bring balance to this situation. Relying on yourself as much as you can. Because when you start relying on yourself, making these choices becomes so much easier, and you can actually see clearly about what is a good choice for you. Like, there's no kind of like cutting through the bullshit. No cutting through the codependency. You just know what to do. I'm going to pull some advice for you now. So what advice do we have for Scorpio relating to this reading? What advice do we have for Scorpio in relation to this reading? Anxiety. Oh. Okay. Yeah, like this is almost like give your cup of love to yourself. What other advice do we have for Scorpio? Oh, juggler. Ah, okay. Alright, anything else? Look, I'm actually not going to take those, because that was enough. Alright, so let's start. So look, you've got... Sorry if I didn't show any of the cards earlier as well, I completely forgot about it. But you have got the Nine of Wands upright. You've got the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups. And you've got the Ten of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. first of all, I think you're the type of person who is quite paranoid about what's going on around you, and you might just assume that people don't have the best intentions, or that it could even just be more of a general anxiety thing where it's like you have a tendency to assume the worst is going to happen. But I think by kind of gaining more balance in this situation, you're going to be able to have a more realistic view of what's going on around you, and you'll stop seeing everything as a threat. Like I was saying, like if you can become stable and sturdy in yourself, there won't be a threat. Like threats can't really get to you anymore because you know that you're safe and you're secure in who you are. But I think anxiety definitely holds you back a lot. Like you're constantly on the lookout for something bad happening, and you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of how much your anxiety kind of is holding you back, especially for making good choices as well, like good beneficial choices that are going to balance out your life. You think about and really start to notice how anxiety is impacting that. And so like that could be in the form of the codependency stuff that comes out. So watch out for codependency or coming in your head being like codependency is basically just where you have to rely on anything outside of yourself, where you have to turn to something else to rely on it. And I think you might have a tendency to do that when you get anxious. But yeah, just really try and take note of your anxiety and how it impacts your codependency issues that you may have. Okay? And you really need to give more love to yourself. You like it's like you have all these wonderful qualities about you, but you don't even acknowledge them. You don't acknowledge how great you are. And it's like other people can see it, but you got to give yourself that cup of love. You got to really try and be more nice and more kind to yourself. Yeah, just try and show more empathy to yourself in these situations. You might have the tendency to be really hard on yourself. You might be, like you only see the negatives in things, which is again another anxiety thing. But try and think about some positives about yourself and your situation. Because you need to have a balanced view, remember? There can't only be negatives. There has to be positives as well. But yeah, try and have a more balanced view of yourself. Look at the positives about yourself. Tell yourself how amazing you are. Tell yourself how deserving you are. Because you are, it's true. And anyone else will tell you the same thing. But it's just always a lot harder to hear that from ourselves. It's a lot harder to tell ourselves our own value. But you just got to do it. You just got to start doing it. Think of like a compliment that you can give yourself each day. Think of positive qualities about yourself that you have. Even things that other people have told you. And just know that you're worthy. That's really all that matters. You are worthy of love. And this last energy that we have, which was the 10 of Wands and the 2 of Pentacles. So this is basically just saying, look, right now you're at a point where you might be, you're like dipping your toes into many different areas and you're juggling a lot of things. And by like juggling so many things at once, you are going to kind of create a burden for yourself. It's going to make it really hard to cope with things. And, as a result, your emotions are also going to become quite out of balance. When you try and juggle too many things at once, I think your emotions definitely become out of balance and you start feeling that burden. You start feeling the load and how heavy it is. So yeah, just really be aware of any tendencies to kind of like, maybe you start multiple projects at once. Um, Something like that. Just be aware of like putting too much on your own plate and just having to deal with too much at once. Try and focus on things one at a time and don't go starting like 5 new projects every week, okay? Because it is going to drain you. It's going to drain you a lot. And it might have started with good intentions, but you're just going to end feeling like upset and quite tired and dead. And it's going to be too much. So yeah, just really watch with how you are giving out your energy and how you are engaging with other energy. Okay?